Hi, third graders. It's Mrs. Belatesh here. I hope you had a fun time with the bird beak build. I always love that project. We're going to finish the year learning about ourselves. That's right. We want to learn about how our bodies work. We've learned about all these different animals. Now let's talk about us, the human animal. And what we're going to focus on is our structural system. When we looked at the crayfish, we saw that they had an exoskeleton. They had a shell on the outside. We do not have a shell on the outside. We have bones inside. And here is my friend, Tony Boney, for us to take a look at. So what I would like us to do is, you guys all should have this page, and there are the bone names. I want us to learn some information about the bones, and then we're going to play a game, and we're going to have a race to see who can put together the skeleton the fastest. One of the things I think is most cool about our skeletal system is that it changes. When you were born, you had over 300 bones in your body. I only have 206. You have something in between there. As you get older, some of your bones fuse together. They were 2 bones and now they become 1 bone. And so you get fewer bones as you grow up. So what I'd like us to do is take a look at the skeleton, and I'm going to put some labels by the skeleton, and then I'm going to explain the race. Okay, third graders, this is what we're going to do. We're going to learn the names of the bones in the body, and I'm going to put some Post-it notes on the wall so you can see the names and memorize them. And then we're going to have a race to see which team can put the skeleton together properly and know the names of all the parts. Are you ready? Let's go. There's the skull. The skull protects your brain. This is your hyoid, and it's a series of bones that connect your skull to your rib cage. Speaking of the rib cage, right there is the rib cage, and your rib cage protects all of your internal organs, your heart, your lungs, your liver, all of the important internal organs to your body. Now let's turn our attention to your arms. Your upper arm, that bone is called your humerus. That's why when you hit your funny bone, it's supposed to be called the funny bone because it's near the humerus. Ha 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 ha. So you've got the humerus, which is in your upper arm, and then you have 2 bones in your lower arm. One is the ulna, and the other is the radius. Then between your wrist and your hand, there's a joint, and those are called the carpals. And then your fingers are called the phalanges. Now, let's start looking at your legs and the rest of your body. These parts of your backbone are called your lumbar vertebrae. This area is called your pelvis. Your top bone in your upper leg is the femur, and it's the biggest bone in your body. Just like in your arm, the lower part of your leg has 2 bones. It has the fibula and the tibula. Then we get down to the toes, and they're called the phalanges again. So let's go through. We've got the skull, the hyoid, the humerus, the ulna and radius, the carpals, the phalanges. We've got the rib cage, lumbar vertebrae, pelvis, femur, fibula, tibula, and phalanges. Now this is how we're going to play the game. You're going to take Mr. Bones apart. You can have the bones all put together. You can have the labels on the table. No problem. When your teacher says go, one person takes a piece. Skull. Then you pass the skull to the next person along with a paper fastener. They say hyoid. They attach the hyoid to the skull. They pass it on to the next person with a paper fastener. The next person says rib cage. They pass that part on to the next person and they put on the humerus. There are 2 arms, so you have to put on both humeruses. Is it humeri? I don't know. Humeruses. Then you pass it on. You have to build your entire skeleton and you're racing against the other team. Let's see how fast you can go. You must be accurate. You have to have the names of the bones correct. For students who are at home, I have scanned in Mr. Bones and you can cut him out and put him together at home. I hope you had fun with Mr. Bones, 3rd graders. Every organism has a strategy for survival. The crayfish had an exoskeleton. It helped them be protected. Our endoskeleton, bones on the inside, provides structure for us. If we didn't have a skeleton, we'd be kind of like a worm, just floppy and couldn't be able to move. So next week, we're going to learn a little bit more about our bodies. See you next time, Cougars.